Hello again, fellow targeted individuals and others. This is Timothy Darrell Young, Bachelor of Science, Political Science at University of Oregon, 2003, Master of Public Administration, University of Oregon, 2005. The other day we talked about some of the tactics that perpetrators and these community spy group gangs use against us. And just for a quick review, it's one, to collect information from victims' minds by talking and retrieving information telepathically with synthetic telepathy. The other is to cover voice-to-skull human trafficking with words having different meanings, double-speak, partial truths, to confuse victims, to distract victims, to impersonate victims speaking for them at speed of subconscious thought, as I had described, to make victims look mentally ill, and to blackmail and threaten victims, extort them. Those are some of the tactics. The stratagem is to suppress you, oppress you, repress you, to crush your will, and then also to radicalize you. And myself and many other of the targeted individuals, particularly in leadership at the nonprofits suing the federal government to stop these mind wars at Targeted Justice, see active shooters on the news that decide to take out their aggression on other innocent lives and horrible, unneeded taking of human life. Some of those are targeted individuals that have been trauma-based, mind-controlled, tricked into mass shootings. And that's an extreme example of radicalization. Many TIs get tricked into getting angry at software, and the perpetrator groups that take the public and private federal contracts for organized torture, they make empty threats at them. They say, oh, you're going to get yours, or you'll get what you deserve, or you're going to hell. And it only makes things worse. You're in a state of agitation and anxiety, and then the humans involved in the at least three humans working 8-hour shifts for 24-hour surveillance and abuse, they're just made more agitated and have more reason and their flawed logic to torture you more. So I wanted to make this quick video. I've noticed that since I've posted 2 videos now on this YouTube channel, they've gone up to as many as 50 views or more, and then been kicked back down to 10 or 20 views. I've seen this phenomena with another targeted individual that was in the European Commission system, and her videos would go up to thousands of views and then be kicked down to just a couple thousand. And the Disclosure Project, they would get like millions of views, and then they would be reduced by an entire magnitude. Like they would have 10 million views, and the next day the counter would show 1 million. So sadly, YouTube is involved in this censorship. In China, they call it the 10-cent army, and they employ citizens to censor other citizens. In the United States, it's community spy group gang stalkers. And it's tough, it's sad, it makes it difficult for us to exercise our constitutional rights, to organize peacefully, to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And so that's the state of affairs that I'm in. In my pocket here, you might have noticed a little duck. I am quite proud of my university. We're in the top 250 universities in the world. Oregon hasn't been a state that long. And since the birth of the University of Oregon, we have rose to international notoriety. It looks like I think it's 1876. I might be off on that, since our university has been there, and in a relatively short duration of time, we're in the top 250 universities in the world. It has a lot to do with the professors, the quality of the students, the taxpayers, philanthropic donations, particularly from Phil and Penny Knight, who've done great things for the campus, both in terms of athletics and scholastic and academic achievement and infrastructure. And so this is called Triple Threat. He's air, land, and sea capable, just like any other duck. But he's really a quad. He's a stuffed animal that has 4 limbs, not 2. He's got four legs rather than 2 legs and 2 wings. So he's a bit of an odd duck, but he makes up for it by being adorable. And so, stratagem: to suppress you, to oppress you, to repress you, to break your will through some of the tactics that I've described in the previous video, to radicalize you, to get you angry, to lash out, to seem more agitated and anxious than you normally would be. And in extreme examples of that, some TI become active shooters. Don't fucking shoot anyone, okay? It's very important. That's not going to solve any of these problems. The secondary function of that is a long-term effort to try and strip these citizens in our country in whole of their constitutional rights to firearms through decades of people getting tired of seeing schools shot up in malls and people run over in their cars, and it's just bad. And so a population is much more controllable without things like firearms. And you can't, I've come to the conclusion it's going to be very difficult to regain our rights over a federal government where we have a citizen population and the government population that all have been covertly overthrown with mind control anyways, through satellites, stationary and direct energy weapon and sound weapon systems, air drones in the air. They can pump mind control out of C-130, those big U.S. Air Force planes that look like passenger planes with big, huge discs on them. People are worried about the cell phone towers. People are worried about electromagnetism working in conjunction with nanotechnology infiltrating our minds. Elon Musk doing Neuralink is like decades beyond or behind what's really already been done covertly by the military-industrial complex, espionage agents, and public and private partnerships for organized torture. There was a bill, I think it was in 2018, I have it posted on some of my websites from the state of California, that criminalized a lot of this community spy group activity. It particularly had efforts to stop the changing of our public and private records. I've experienced it myself. Medical records getting altered, an arrest record. I was tricked into killing a talking dog that really wasn't talking after I had gotten attacked by a sex offender the week prior. I was highly intoxicated. I had stopped drinking a lot and then went back to drinking that day and drank as much as I normally would. And because I had such a low tolerance, I blacked out, and I killed the talking dog that wasn't talking, that didn't need to die, and have been under what's called the Psychiatric Review Board for about 4.5 years almost now, for a 5-year term. I've tried to make the best of it, do a lot of work on myself, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, staying sober, and learning about psychotronics, cybernetics, targeted individual and gang stalking systems. As I mentioned in a previous video, this destroyed the USSR. It also, community spy groups were being used when Germany split in two. It decomposes whole nations. it's more likely that outcome will happen, and I'm speaking as a political science and a master of public administration, it's more likely that the U.S. will decompose as a union than these gangs getting caught and stopped. They're working hand in hand with law enforcement. It's a glorified snitch army, and they are well armed in no good ways and non-lethal, but worse than nuclear weapon types of abuses of this technology against the population. Just approaching 11 minutes here on the video and want to sum it up. I'm posting now on other video platforms. I think there's one called Bright Aeon and another one to sort of double back on this censorship from YouTube. I'm trying to reach out to another dear friend of mine, a fellow targeted individual, Kevin Christian, Georgia, formerly of Georgia, another targeted individual. He's got a great YouTube channel. He saw the inner workings of gang stalking. He was kind of taken in and then they turned on him. But he knows about the EEG transducer caps. He knows about transferring their consciousness from their mind to physical locations like this beyond the visible light spectrum, which is really tiny compared to the rest of what's going on in microwave, ultraviolet, radio waves, and so on. I can't recommend Kevin Christian's work enough. He's really taken a chance with his quality of life and his life and bringing this information to the public. And he's had some of the same tactics used against him, with hit counters going down on how many people watch his videos and the like. And so I'm experiencing some of that same bullshit. And I do a little southern accent. Pass the time, I call him Sweet Tea, and this is me talking in the tone of the South. And my dear friend Kevin Christian's got a southern accent. It's not quite as pronounced and maybe comedic as mine, but he does have an accent, and I have enjoyed some amateur voice acting skill over the years. We're hit with so many different types of voice and voice cloning technology in our remote neural monitoring. I have caught Kevin having a Jamaican accent on his YouTube videos, and it's quite entertaining. I recommend humor as therapy also. If you got to make fun of your voices, they're gang stalkers and their AI do that for a while instead of making empty threats. Don't make fucking empty threats at them. It only does you more harm. So approaching 13 minutes here on this video, and I'll wrap it up, and my buddy Triple Threat will say goodbye. He's my mascot for the Oregon Ducks. Peace out, y'all.